What is up, you guys? It's of course me, the one and only Mr. TC Cats, and welcome back to today's video, where I thought I would just share my opinions of the Indiana Jones movies. I just recently watched all 5 of them back to back for the first time ever. Now, for context, I did watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull when it came out in theaters a long time ago, I know. So, didn't really remember much, but that was my main exposure to it. And I remember enjoying it, but I never really sat down and watched all of them. And I really wanted to because I like the idea of them and I like Harrison Ford as an actor. So I thought I'd give it a try. Go ahead, comment down below what you think I'm going to think of each one, and let's see if you're correct or if I am a lunatic. So starting with Raiders of the Lost Ark, this movie is pretty good. To me, this is a perfect movie. It's fun, it's whimsical, it's a little silly at times, but it all makes sense in the context of the movie and the context of the universe that the movie is taking place in. Solid story, solid acting. Yeah, I thought all in all this was a pretty good, pretty solid movie. I can definitely see why this created the franchise that it did. This is a very, very solid movie. Now, on to the second movie in the series. I personally didn't really like this one a lot. This was my wife's favorite movie, she told me. So going into it, I was really curious how it stacked up against the original. And for me personally, this just feels like the original, but bigger budget. So I can definitely see why you would like this one the best out of all the movies. Because it is in fact just Raiders, but higher stakes, higher action, bigger budget, you know. But at the end of the day, I felt like this one was a little bit, it was trying to get a little bit more fantasy. And I don't know, to me personally, I have to check with the years when these came out, but this feels like they were like, hey, act a little bit more like Han Solo. Because to me, Harrison Ford was acting more Han Solo-ish than he was Indiana Jones-ish in this movie. That's just my opinion. It's not bad, but I don't think it's my favorite. All right, now on to the third movie. Wow, I did not like this one at all. I actually think this is probably the weakest in the original trilogy, and not only that, I don't know. I mean, like when I think of this, I immediately think too there's a lot more slapstick elements in it which stick out to me, because so far in the series there hasn't really been like over the top silly moments, but there is like when they're on the blimp, Zeppelin, whatever they're called, and you know he's just like punching the Nazi after that whole exchange. I don't know, that just feels silly to me. But also, this is the first movie where it doesn't feel like Indiana Jones is in control. So like the first and the second one, it's like, okay, he's in control, he's the smartest man in the room, he might not immediately know how to solve a solution, but he will get there. And he ends up doing everything himself. Now, really quick, what scene do you think I'm going to talk about? Because a lot of people might say the scene with the Holy Grail. But no. To me, the scene that sticks out to me is the tank scene where like Indiana Jones would have died. And it's not even like he slowed away off of, like he was hanging up the tank, he was going to get crushed to death. He didn't solve a way to figure it out. His dad didn't solve a way to figure it out. No one did. It was just a total accident that saved his life. And to me, that is the first time where something like that happened, and that just takes me out of it. And then, you know, that's the big problem that I personally have with the movie. But also, I think the intro is a little weak. Like, we didn't really need an origin story for his hat and his whip and why he doesn't like snakes. I don't know. So, this is definitely my least favorite of the original trilogy. And honestly, I'll say this is probably my least favorite overall. This is the only one that I wouldn't be like, yeah, let's go watch this again. All right, now to the fourth one. The one that people do not like. Kind of crazy to me. I personally love this one, and it might be my nostalgia talking. Like I said, this is the one I saw in the movie theater. It kind of just slaps. Like, to me personally, Crystal Skull feels the most, and this is going to be a silly sounding comment, but this one feels the most George Lucas-y, right? You got like the greasers, everyone's getting milkshakes and fries. You got the cool classic cars, everything's happening. It's the perfect amount of whimsy and the perfect amount of silly, where it really does, it feels like an attempt to do the first one, but make it a little bit more modern. So yeah, probably a controversial take, but it is what it is. I really do like Crystal Skull. All right, now on to the fifth one. I was putting this one off for a while because I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I remember when it came out, there was a lot of people really upset, complaining, oh, Disney is ruining things, they're ruining Indiana. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty good. This is definitely up there. This is probably my second favorite one, which is a crazy statement. I think it's clocking in at the longest indie. If it isn't, it feels like it. Not in a bad way, though. It feels like the story goes a lot of places, there's a lot of good beats, without it feeling like it's a million years long. I remember hearing people talking about how the de-aging was good, but you have the gristled indie voice, 70-year-old Harrison Ford. I remember it was jarring immediately, but after like a line and a half of dialogue, you get kind of used to it. And yeah, outside of that, I mean, it's pretty good. And when I personally heard the concept, I remember thinking, oh, this is a little goofy. Well, now watching 5 Indiana Jones movies back to back, yeah, they're all a little goofy and whimsical, and that's what makes them good movies. There's not really much more to say about this one, other than, I just really liked it. I liked all the supporting characters. I liked that there was some old returning characters. My one gripe is the last scene. It's like, oh, Indy got the girl. Finally, they're gonna be all happy after everything that happened. But that scene just looks like, oh, hey, look, it's my grandparents at the nursing home dancing. Oh, I lied. There's two gripes I have with this. The other one is, of course, I know Shia would probably never came back, but I kind of hate that they just killed off Shia LaBeouf, because personally what I think they should have done is kept him in it, and then they could have kept the series going just following Indy's son, because personally I like Shia LaBeouf as Indiana Jones' son. That's probably a hot take. But yeah, so anyway, that's my opinion of all 5 Indiana Jones movies. What do you guys think? Comment down below. I know that not liking Last Crusade is a hot take, but hey, movie kind of sucks. I just said them like things that come to the top of my head, but there was a lot of things I really didn't like about that one. So yeah, am I wrong for having these opinions? Probably. Do you agree that it's kind of crazy that Disney made a pretty good Indiana Jones movie? To be fair, it's one movie, so it's not that surprising, because like Force Awakens, in comparative to 7, 8, and 9, Force Awakens is a pretty good movie. So I guess Disney's good at making one-offs. Alright, well anyway, that's it for the video. Bye everybody.